So, as part of the lawnmower thoughts, I've decided to pass on uh, what I call my well theory. Uh, you know, uh, Theories are really just a best guess, made from observations. I mean, think about the theory of evolution, right? I mean, somebody decided that they think that complex life forms came from single cell organisms, and there are no 2 cell, 3 cell, 4 cell, 5 cell organisms. It just went from single cell organisms to bam, very complex multiple cell organisms. It's a theory, right? There's no intermediary species. We're supposed to be evolved from other species. And there's nothing intermediary. But anyway, the long story. I don't believe in theory of evolution. I believe in creationism. But I think it's intelligently designed. Uh, but I get thinking about all these folks who talk about global warming and those kind of things that the audacity of men, uh, could be women, but human beings who think they can impact the earth. They're so important that they know better, and they believe they can really impact this earth. Uh, uh, it's another one of those examples of selfishness, I guess. In its core. But anyway, uh, I don't believe that uh, global warming or the change in the climate of the earth is man-made. Certainly, it is changing, and it has changed ever since it was created. As a matter of fact, it was designed to have fluctuations. Because that is why we have seasons, because of the Earth's tilt, uh, on its axis that it rotates in, and the way it revolves around the sun. So yeah, it was all design. That got it that way. Probably not happenstance. And so I don't believe that man is causing global warming, but I do believe it exists. And so I got to thinking about it, and that's where I guess I came up with well theory. When I was in school, grade school mostly, we were entering an ice age. That's what we studied about. I'm talking back in the 70s, when I was in school, and it was, we were entering an ice age is what you would hear. And now, we're, the highest recorded temperature. Yeah, I mean, you got a concrete jungle out there. Of course, the temperature is going to be higher. It's well proven science that if you record the temperature on top of some asphalt versus recorded on top of some natural grass, that the asphalt is going to average higher temperature. All other conditions same, because that concrete retains heat. But anyway, uh, just think about those things. And I believe there are organizations that benefit from the fear that people have of global warming. And politicians and companies can benefit from that, and so therefore that's what they flaunt, they support, they you know uh, publish and all that. So my well theory. Uh, I wonder if you've ever been in a bathtub. You sit in a bathtub, uh, and uh, and so what happens when you sit in a bathtub? It's very obvious, a very observable event. You sit in the bathtub, and the water level of the bathtub rises. Right? You can run your water in the bathtub and be below that little drain, the overflow drain, with the water, and then you get in the bathtub, and then all of a sudden, the water is going out the drain. And so what's happening there? Your body has displaced the water in the bathtub and caused it to go out. So it offsets that amount of water. The volume of your body displaces that water. And so I got to thinking about that, and I don't know. I hadn't looked it up, but I'm thinking somewhere in the 1940s, uh, the pretty much, I guess, maybe the developed world decided to ban whaling, which is going out and hunting whales, right? I mean, Moby Dick, uh, where people had whaling ships, and they would go out and they would harpoon whales and harvest them for their blubber, and I imagine some kind of meat, but a lot of whale oil along the coastlines. Whale products. I think the blue whale, maybe the one that has the skein, I think is what they call it. The stuff sort of filters out the plankton for them to eat. But anyway, in the 40s, 50s, somewhere in there, they banned whaling. And I understand there are some Inuits, some folks out there who still whale, but not to the scale that they did before that. It was. I mean, there were whaling ships and countries and companies who really benefited a lot from harvesting whales. And they decided, hey, these things are getting extinct. We're going to stop doing this. And so, you don't hardly hear them whaling anymore. But I got thinking, what's happening with those whales, right? I mean, we were killing, I don't know how many whales a year, but a lot, enough for the folks to decide to stop doing it, and then we stopped, and so I've observed that if you have deer or squirrels, take squirrels. I got squirrels in my yard. Got a few squirrels. I may shoot a squirrel every once in a while. Hunt some squirrels. I stop hunting squirrels. The next thing you know, I'm just overrun with squirrels. Squirrels everywhere. Same thing with deer. That's why we have deer hunting programs. To control the population of the deer. Because if you don't, then they'll just multiply and be all over the place. So that's what I think those whales have been doing. They've been underwater multiplying. I mean, that's what whales do. Multiply and make more whales. And you think about how big is a whale. I mean, whales are pretty big. Bigger than boats. I mean, I hadn't looked it up lately. I mean, but it's my understanding it's the largest mammal that exists, right? And so, they're bigger than school buses, maybe bigger than houses. Pretty big, and they've been underwater multiplying all this time. And back to my bathtub reference, those whales are displacing a lot of water. So when you hear about the sea level rising, and some folks' theory is that the ice caps are melting, and that's causing the seawater to rise. Well, I've observed that I have a glass of tea. I live in the South, and I set my tea on the counter with ice in it, and the ice melts. Well, my tea doesn't spill over out of the cup. It doesn't. That ice doesn't melt so much that it causes the tea to spill over onto the counter. And so I don't put a lot of stock in the ice is melting, causing the oceans to rise. So my theory, based on observations, I've got the bathtub observation, I've got the animals in the wild tend to multiply observation, I've got the size of the whale observation. Those whales have been down there multiplying, and they're growing, and displacing a lot of water. And so, just like your bathtub, the ocean levels are rising because whales are multiplying. There you go. That's the whale theory. Keep in mind, it's just a theory, but it's based on observable events, just like some of the other wild theories that idiots out there have. That is Biffle's whale theory. Sitting and thinking about things. That's what works for me, mostly.